Hey there, history buffs and curious minds. Ever heard of a little book called the Communist Manifesto? Buckle up, because we're about to dive into a wild ride through the pages of one of history's most influential and controversial texts. This isn't your grandma's bedtime story. The Communist Manifesto, penned by two German intellectuals, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, back in 1848, is a fiery call to action that sent shockwaves across the world. Forget boring lectures and dusty libraries. We're talking revolutions, social movements, and enough political intrigue to make your head spin. The Communist Manifesto isn't just some old book gathering dust on a shelf. It's a living, breathing document that continues to spark debate and inspire action, even today. So, get ready to explore the surprising facts, global impact, and enduring legacy of a book that dared to imagine a world turned upside down. Let's jump right in, shall we? Before we unpack the revolutionary ideas within the Communist Manifesto, let's meet the brains behind this bombshell of a book, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Picture them as the dynamic duo of 19th century social critique, armed with pens sharper than swords and a burning desire to shake up the system. Karl Marx, the bearded, brooding genius, was the mastermind behind the manifesto's core concepts. Born in Germany in 1818, Marx was a philosopher, economist, and all-around intellectual heavyweight. He saw firsthand the growing inequality and social unrest of the Industrial Revolution, and let's just say he wasn't a fan. Enter Friedrich Engels, Marx's partner in crime and intellectual soulmate. Hailing from a wealthy German family, Engels witnessed the plight of the working class while managing his family's textile factory in Manchester. Talk about a reality check. Together, Marx and Engels formed an unlikely but unstoppable duo, united by their shared outrage at the injustices of their time. They spent countless hours debating, writing, and refining their ideas, ultimately giving birth to the Communist Manifesto, a fiery critique of capitalism and a rallying cry for the working class to seize control. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of their groundbreaking work. Hold on tight, folks, because the Communist Manifesto isn't for the faint of heart. It's a powerful cocktail of social analysis, economic theory, and revolutionary zeal, all shaken up with a dash of Marx and Engels' signature wit. At its core, the manifesto is a scathing critique of capitalism, which Marx and Engels saw as an inherently exploitative system that pits the wealthy bourgeoisie against the working-class proletariat. They argued that capitalism, driven by its insatiable thirst for profit, inevitably leads to inequality, alienation, and social unrest. But here's the kicker. Marx and Engels didn't just want to complain about the problems of capitalism. They envisioned a radical alternative, communism. In their utopian vision, private property would be abolished, the means of production would be owned collectively, and a classless society would emerge, free from exploitation and oppression. The manifesto lays out a roadmap for achieving this communist utopia, urging the working class to rise up, overthrow the capitalist order, and establish a dictatorship of the proletariat. This new state would pave the way for a classless society where everyone contributes according to their abilities and receives according to their needs. Now that we've got a handle on the manifesto's main points, let's uncover some of its lesser-known quirks and fascinating tidbits. Section 4. Surprising Secrets of the Manifesto. The Communist Manifesto may be a serious political treatise, but that doesn't mean it's devoid of interesting trivia and surprising revelations. Get ready to impress your friends with these fun facts about the book that shook the world. First up, did you know that the manifesto was originally titled Manifesto of the Communist Party? Catchy, right? Turns out, Marx and Engels weren't exactly marketing geniuses. Thankfully, someone somewhere decided to shorten the title, and the rest, as they say, is history. Speaking of history, the manifesto was written on the eve of the 1848 revolutions that swept across Europe. Talk about timing. While the revolutions themselves didn't exactly usher in a communist utopia, they certainly highlighted the growing social unrest and desire for change that Marx and Engels so eloquently articulated. And here's a surprising tidbit. The manifesto wasn't an instant bestseller. In fact, it initially flew under the radar, only gaining widespread attention in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as socialist movements gained momentum worldwide. Who knew a book about class struggle could be such a slow burn? But the manifesto's impact wasn't confined to dusty bookshelves. Let's explore how this revolutionary text sparked real-world change and inspired movements across the globe. Section 5. The Russian Revolution. A Marxist masterpiece? Fast forward a few decades, and the Communist Manifesto found itself at the heart of one of the most significant events of the 20th century, the Russian Revolution. It's a tale of czars, revolutionaries, and a nation on the brink of transformation. Imagine Russia in the early 1900s, ruled by a czar, riddled with poverty and ripe for revolution. Enter Vladimir Lenin, a revolutionary leader inspired by Marx and Engels' ideas. Lenin, a true believer in the power of the proletariat, saw the manifesto as a blueprint for change. Under Lenin's leadership, the Bolsheviks, a Marxist-inspired party, seized power in 1917, promising land, bread, and peace. They overthrew the Tsar, established the Soviet Union, and embarked on a radical experiment in building a communist state. Now, whether the Soviet Union truly embodied the communist ideals outlined in the manifesto is a topic for another day. But there's no denying that Marx and Engels' ideas had a profound impact on the course of Russian history. But the manifesto's influence didn't stop at the Russian border. Let's journey across the globe to explore how its ideas resonated in different corners of the world. Section 6. From China to Cuba: Communism's Global Journey. Hold on to your hats, folks, because the impact of the Communist Manifesto wasn't confined to Russia. Its ideas, like seeds scattered by the wind, took root in diverse soils across the globe, from the bustling streets of Shanghai to the sun-drenched shores of Cuba. In China, a young revolutionary named Mao Zedong found inspiration in Marx's writings, adapting communist ideology to fit the unique circumstances of his vast and complex nation. Mao's Communist Party triumphed in the Chinese Civil War, leading to the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, a charismatic revolutionary named Fidel Castro led a ragtag band of guerrillas to victory in the Cuban Revolution, overthrowing the Batista regime and establishing a socialist state in 1959. Castro, deeply influenced by Marxist-Leninist thought, sought to create a more equitable society in Cuba. These are just two examples of how the Communist Manifesto sparked revolutions and inspired social movements across the globe. From Vietnam to Nicaragua, from Korea to Cambodia, the manifesto's ideas resonated with those seeking to challenge existing power structures and create a more just and equitable world. But the manifesto's influence wasn't limited to communist revolutions. Let's delve into how its ideas continue to shape modern social movements and inspire activism today. Section 7. The Manifesto's Mark on Modern Movements. Hold on to your hats, folks, because the impact of the Communist Manifesto didn't fade with the fall of the Berlin Wall. Its ideas, like tenacious vines, continue to weave their way into modern social movements, inspiring activists and challenging the status quo. Take the Occupy Wall Street movement, for example. Remember those passionate protesters camped out in Zuccotti Park back in 2011, railing against income inequality and corporate greed? Well, lurking beneath their chants of, "We are the 99%, were echoes of Marx and Engels' critiques of capitalism. The manifesto's emphasis on class struggle and its call for economic justice clearly resonated with a new generation, disillusioned with a system that seemed rigged against them. And it's not just Occupy Wall Street. The manifesto's influence can be seen in movements for workers' rights, environmental justice, and racial equality. From the fight for a living wage to the struggle against climate change, activists around the world draw inspiration from Marx and Engels' analysis of power, oppression, and the need for systemic change. The manifesto's enduring legacy lies in its ability to spark critical thinking and inspire action. Its ideas, like intellectual kindling, continue to ignite debates and fuel movements for social justice, reminding us that the fight for a more equitable world is far from over. But of course, no discussion of the manifesto would be complete without acknowledging the debates and controversies it continues to provoke. Let's dive into the fray and explore the diverse perspectives on this polarizing text. With that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.